Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about some game changer news that was recently released around Tesla, and this especially has something to do with the Tesla deliveries for quarter two of 2020. And as we know, this is a big deal because if Tesla can get 4 quarters in a row of profit and beat the expected earnings per share, then Tesla can be included in the S&P 500, which in my opinion would be a big deal. That would be a big stock mover in my opinion if Tesla were to be put in the S&P 500. But anyways, as a side note, if you do enjoy these types of videos where I talk about Tesla news and Tesla stock, then please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It really does help me out, and I just really appreciate the love as well. It helps these videos get recommended to newer people. But as I stated, there's been some big news about Tesla recently with the new delivery numbers. We'll go ahead and jump into that article in just a few minutes. And in addition to that, we also got some news of Tesla's price target being increased by an analyst to $2,000. So we'll be discussing that in a minute as well. But just addressing the performance of this stock today, Tesla is currently a little over $1,200 per share right now. It's up 8.12% today, or plus $91.15 per share just for today alone. This is an absolutely huge movement for a stock, and for a stock to go up 8% in one day, that's a pretty rare occurrence, and that doesn't happen very often unless it's like penny stocks that are swing traded a lot. But to have a huge stock like Tesla that's over $1,000 go up over 8% in one day, that's definitely a big deal. And when you see movements like that, it's almost guaranteed that new news has recently been released about Tesla, and especially positive news. And like I said, we'll discuss that in just a few seconds. But just addressing the performance for today for Tesla, as you can see, I currently own a market value of Tesla shares of about $41,176. I own 34 shares, average cost at about $839. And for today's return just alone, I'm at plus 8.19% or plus $3,127. So that's huge. To gain more than $3,000 in one day, all passive income, no effort whatsoever. I just get to relax and watch the numbers go up. That's a big deal, and it's definitely awesome to see that happening. And I'm not really surprised about it though, because this is a stock that I've always expected to do well. I just didn't expect it to skyrocket this fast. I knew there would be some volatility in the meantime, but Tesla has really been on a tear lately, especially if you look at the past week. It's up almost 22%. So total return, we're at 44.45%, and that's about $12,700. So total return is looking fantastic for this, considering I didn't start investing in Tesla until like March or so. But just jumping onto the main topic, like I mentioned, the stock jumped up so much today because of some recent news that was released regarding the Tesla deliveries for this quarter. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump over to this article by Teslarati, and this basically runs through the numbers on these deliveries. So the article is titled, Tesla crushes Wall Street's Q2 estimates with over 90,000 deliveries. So not only did it hit 90,000 deliveries, a big milestone number, but it also beat estimates as well, which is what really matters in terms of influencing the stock price value. And as an investor, you want the stock price to increase, but to make that happen, the company has to make sure that they beat expectations. And so when good news comes out that states that your company that you invest in has beaten Wall Street expectations or analyst expectations, then that is news that commonly has a positive impact on the stock value, causing it to go up on certain days that this positive news is released. So that's similar to what we're seeing with today with these most recent delivery estimates numbers. So jumping straight into this article, it says Tesla has released its second quarter vehicle production and delivery report, posting a total production of 82,272 and total deliveries of 90,650. So that delivery number is what's really important right here. And it mentions that this is a remarkable accomplishment basically because of the whole Rona situation. As we know, Alameda County, the Fremont factory, I think it was locked down for like 7 weeks. So that was definitely a negative impact in terms of production, because when a factory is locked down, you can't keep production going like normal. So that means you really have to crack down on production when the factories are open. So that's why Elon Musk has really been pushing his employees to try their hardest to get as much production done in these last few days of the quarter. And that's why it was such a big deal for him, not only for the potential of having 4 profitable quarters in a row for the S&P 500 inclusion criteria, but also because they wanted to beat Wall Street expectations because they knew that they would be underestimated because of the whole Rona situation recently. People were expecting it to have a very negative impact on Tesla because of the Fremont factory being shut down. And so that's why Elon Musk was really emphasizing in the last few days on the deliveries and the production as well, because as we know, when news like this comes out and expectations are beaten, then that causes the stock value to go up. And part of the plan in which Elon Musk gets paid, he has to have the stock value increase up a certain percentage while also accomplishing many other goals. And all of those have to be done for Elon Musk to get a big payday. So that's a big incentive for him to want to grow the stock value as well, because not only does it satisfy investors and grow the value of the company, but it also helps with his final payday as well once he satisfies the Tesla payment criteria. And so just running through the numbers for Q2 of 2020 for both production and deliveries, as it says right here, it comprised of 6,326 Model S and Model X's for production, and then they also produced 75,946 Model 3s and Model Ys. And then the deliveries included 10,600 Model S's and Model X's, and then 80,050 Model 3s and Model Ys. So as we know, the Model 3 and Model Y were supposed to be huge sellers. A big emphasis on Model Y in this recent quarter. The Model Y is supposed to be one of the biggest sellers ever for Tesla, and Elon Musk definitely realized that, so that's why there was such a big push at the end of Q2. So as we know, it mentions that over 90,000 vehicles were delivered, that exact number 90,650, and it says that Tesla has completely crushed Wall Street estimates, in which they estimated that there would be only 72,000 deliveries as of July 1st, 2020. So this was actually a big upset in terms of the estimates, as in a good upset for Tesla, because they greatly exceeded the expectations by almost 20,000 deliveries. So that's definitely a big deal for Tesla, and maybe that will start to wake up some of these Wall Street analysts a little bit more, and they can actually see through the fog to see what's actually happening with Tesla. And just if you're curious, here's a more easily readable breakdown chart of the deliveries and the production. As you can see, 10,600 Model S and Model X's, and then 80,050 Model 3s and Model Ys. So it has a pretty good breakdown right there where you can see everything clearly. And it says, while our main factory in Fremont was shut down for much of the quarter, we have successfully ramped production back to prior levels. So this is really good news as well. It means that they're already back to their recent point of production before the whole Rona situation. And then this report also emphasizes, stating that their net income and cash flow results will be announced along with the rest of our financial performance when they announce the Q2 earnings. The delivery count should be viewed as slightly conservative, as we only count for a car as delivered if it is transferred to the customer and all paperwork is correct. Final numbers could vary by up to 0.5% or more. Tesla vehicle deliveries represent only one measure of the company's financial performance and should not be relied on as an indicator of quarterly financial results, which depend on a variety of factors, including the cost of sales, foreign exchange movements, and mix of directly leased vehicles. So this has a nice tidbit of info right here that emphasizes that Tesla's profitability doesn't just rely on their vehicles. Keep in mind that they also have solar, they have grid technology, and things such as Powerwall. So there's many other revenue sources in addition to just Tesla deliveries. And keep in mind that you also have revenue potential for digital services such as over-the-air upgrades, and then you also have the Tesla Premium Connectivity $9.99 membership for every month. So a lot of Tesla users probably have that as well. And in addition to that, you also have additional revenue for like full self-driving technology, whatever they choose on that decision. So if they decide to get that, I know it's like $8,000 right now. So not only is it just the base model of the car, but some of these deliveries as well will also include that extra $7,000, $6,000, $8,000 for the full self-driving technology. So that's something to consider as well, because their profits don't just rely on the deliveries, but there's many other factors that will contribute in terms of revenue as well that I just mentioned. So with that being said, as I mentioned earlier, the news of deliveries beating expectations is definitely a big deal, and it is looking likely that Tesla will make a profit this quarter. And like I mentioned earlier, if Tesla has 4 full profitable quarters in a row, then that means they are eligible for the S&P 500 criteria. It doesn't mean they will automatically get put into it. It just means that they're eligible for it. So the stock still has to be chosen and everything, but it then becomes eligible. And I think that's another thing that could be factored into a price increase as well, because many firms may start buying Tesla once it gets put into the S&P 500 to just add to some of these companies' funds. So I think that's another big price increaser. If it does get chosen for the S&P 500, I definitely think that will be some positive news that will influence it in a good way as well, just like with today on the delivery. So chances are, if it is announced that Tesla is going into the S&P 500, then I feel like that would be another really green day for Tesla. And just if you're curious about this criteria, it says to be added to the S&P 500, the following criteria must be met. For one thing, it must be a US company. That's done. The market cap must be 5.3 billion or more. Well, if we look at Tesla, it's way over 5.3 billion. We're at like 224 right now. So that's another check mark. Then the next one says the public float must consist of at least 50% outstanding shares. The next one says it must have positive reported earnings in the most recent quarter, as well as over the 4 most recent quarters. And then the stock must have an active market and must trade for a reasonable share price. Now, Tesla Q and Tesla Bears may have something to say about this one, especially because this one is kind of up to interpretation if you think that Tesla is or is not a reasonable share price. In my opinion, the 1200 right now is very reasonable if you're looking at this with a long-term vision and a long-term lens. And also, this criteria right here is what we referenced to earlier. So if this most recent Q2 quarter is profitable, then that means it has satisfied the criteria and that there have been 4 profitable quarters in a row. So this basically meets all of the criteria. So this is a huge deal if Tesla is able to be profitable this quarter. And that was why Elon Musk was emphasizing such a big end of quarter push. And it seems like from Twitter and just how Elon Musk has been acting lately on Twitter, it seems like he's pretty confident at this point. I know he bragged on his employees. He sent everyone an email thanking them for all of their hard work. And then he's also making jokes about shorts on Twitter right now. So it does seem like Elon Musk is pretty confident right now. And if he can make this happen, and if Tesla is profitable this quarter, then it's a complete game changer. And that opens up a lot more growth potential because people will definitely start buying this when the news comes out, if it gets in the S&P 500, and if news releases that they were profitable for a 4th quarter in a row. So with this being said, this is absolutely game changer news. And then I have another final piece of news from a news article that I would like to show you all, because this is about the $2,000 price target. This is from MarketWatch, and it says Tesla stock price target boosted to $2,000 by Wedbush, making it the highest among FactSet analysts. And it says Wedbush and Dan Ives raised his stock price target for Tesla to $2,000 from $1,250 on Friday, making it the highest among analysts on FactSet. And honestly, to give my opinion, I agree with this guy. And a quote from him says, "We believe with demand for Model 3s ramping stronger than expectations in China heading into the summer timeframe, the lockdown easing in the US and Europe, and some potentially game-changing battery developments on the horizon, Battery Day another key catalyst, that Tesla stock likely has room to run further," Ives wrote. Then he emphasizes further that while the stock has been roaring higher, we believe the main fundamental catalyst continues to be the massive China market, which is showing clear signs of a spike in demand for Elon Musk and his company and heading into the rest of the year. And as it says here, the analyst was expecting Tesla to report stronger 2nd quarter deliveries than what Wall Street was expecting. So as we mentioned earlier, they have beaten Wall Street expectations, so he was correct on that. And he has a fantastic point about all of the positives that can contribute to Tesla hitting 2,000 in the near future as well, in which he mentions the lockdown easing, he mentions the game-changing battery developments, the Model 3 ramping significantly, and then also, as he mentions down here, he discusses the demand in China. So this person has an excellent point, and I think they're thinking in the right direction with this $2,000 price target, and it's nice to see an analyst finally having a bit more sense. I mean, you have some people out here that are shorts that are saying Tesla is still only worth $80. And to me, that's just willful ignorance, because at that point, you're not looking at the facts, you're not doing your homework, you're not doing research. And it's pretty obvious that Tesla has secured their future, especially with them barely having any sort of competition. At this point, it's looking very nice for Tesla, and they're sitting pretty right now because there's really not a big threat at this point unless Amazon advances their full self-driving technology and vehicles. But as we know, That's why all of these other stocks are getting hyped up that shouldn't really be as hyped in my opinion, like Nikola. And it's just because there's really no big second competitor to Tesla right now. So people are kind of just reaching for straws with these cheaper stocks like Nikola that are in that EV genre, but it's just not comparable to Tesla in my opinion. But that kind of just proves how Tesla really has no competition right now in my opinion. Even years later, still, they have no competition really. But anyways, I just wanted to share this quick little news video with you all. I always like to try to keep you all updated, especially on some of these really interesting articles. I think it's very valuable in terms of just looking at this stock from the long-term lens and perspective for the future. I think still at $1,200, Tesla's obviously at a premium, but it's still a solid buy if you do plan to hold for the long term, because the potential is just exponential in the future for this stock and this company in terms of growth. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please make sure to smash that like button if you did, and also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull with my referral link in the description. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks. But thank you all so much for watching, and stay safe out there.